During my entire editing career, my pattern in income looked a little something like this. And this isn't like direct data from my bank, but this is like the general consensus of how my income looked, right? And this is, you can see here, it's all wobbly and stuff, and it looks silly. And this is a picture of me. And what you're probably wondering is that it looks very jumpy and inconsistent and very strange. And this is something that I thought was common knowledge, right? What I'm noticing a lot is as I'm starting to talk a lot to, like, I'm starting to talk to a lot of editors one-to-one, and I'm noticing this pattern in problem and error and mindset, and more so viewpoints and paradigms, where people's income is not looking like this, and mine did. And I'm like, that's funny, so how does yours look? And well, it probably looks something a little like this. You know, this isn't somebody's income. This is like just a chart that I made that probably, you know, reflects on how your income may look. And today I'm going to show you how you can scale your income as one of these people, an editor, right? And that is what you look like before you ask. Like, that is, you think you don't look like that? I can guarantee you when you start editing, you look like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is progress. Because this is so unbelievable. Like, this isn't just as an editor thing. As people, this is the most dangerous thing we do. The most dangerous thing we can do is rush progress. A lot of people measure progress with numbers. So that can be a new weight on the scale. Oh, look, I dropped a couple pounds. Oh, I must be getting lighter. This diet thing is working out for me. You know, and you measure yourself day by day. Or, oh, I got a new powerlifting record. I got a new fucking PR. You know, I love to feel that I've got a new fucking bench press or whatever. And it's like, okay. Or the most views on a video, you know? And the reason that this is dangerous is because there are so many variables that go into all of this stuff. You know, if there's a huge gap, a noticeably different gap in time and gap in numbers, that is significant data, you know? So what I could probably do, for example, I've been talking to some YouTube coaches and I've been trying to do some data analysis on my YouTube channel. And they're like, Danny, you've only made 30 videos. That's not enough. Interesting. I thought it was. And the same thing with a lot of people is that they will have maybe a jump in income and they'll go down and then they'll be like, what is wrong with me? Why am I going down in income? Something's not right. And they think that month by month is good enough time span to do some analysis and reflection, but it's not. Okay, everybody thinks far too short term. Okay, and it's not. And then again, the most dangerous thing of them all is measuring income earned in a month and taking it as progress. So again, this is probably what your income looks like, and this is probably how it should be looking like. A lot more normal way. Now, I'm not saying that you should be jumping from 1.4 to 3K, but if you do, it should be okay for you to drop down a bit if it means making a little bit more later. And even this, jumping from 2.2 to 4.4K, is a bit unrealistic. Sorry, not unrealistic. It is, you know, it's not totally going to happen. These 1 month time spans are not long enough for you to measure progress. But one thing I can guarantee is it will never look like this. Never, ever, ever, ever look like this. Because progress is not linear. Therefore, income is not linear. Now, here's a double problem. I can tell you this, and you could probably say, Danny, I know this. I understand. Progress is not linear. I will not keep making... But then, when you don't have that progress registered in your mind, you think there's something wrong with you. You're like, I know, Danny, it's not linear. I know, you know, it takes time and hard work. It's not going to come to me immediately. But then when the month ends and then you count how much you've made and then you don't make that progress, you start telling yourself, is there something wrong with me? Did I do something wrong? Is there something fundamentally wrong with my mind? You know, is my model not working? Is my niche not working? Is editing not working? Is dannyrio a fraud? Or, you know, whoever you start listening to on YouTube nowadays, right? And you start thinking that because you're not jumping up step by step, that you're not making any progress. And you think this is going to somehow happen. But then when you look at it on a chart, you're like, that is a bit silly, to be fair. Nobody makes that kind of progress. But then when the month comes, the new month comes, you're like, what is wrong with me? I've not been making $1,000 new every single month. You know? You know it shouldn't be like this. But then when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh, why is this not happening? It should look something a little more fluid like this. And if it looks like this, well then, I'm going to explain what the problem is. So, what happens is you don't have a change in strategy. You see, a lot of editors make the mistake of learning, and then at some point after learning, they have this comfortability, they have this sort of complacency to them where they say, I don't need to learn anymore, you know, I'm good, I'm not, you know, learning, I'm already good at editing. Whoa, back the fuck up. You're good? You're good at editing? Well, you've been learning for a couple months, you think you're good at editing, you don't need to learn anymore? So what this is called is, this is a logarithmic curve, right? Generally, when we learn some kind of skill, we learn a lot at the beginning because we go from nothing to knowing something, and that's a lot, right? We get a solid base understanding of how things work. So then when you start learning editing, you go on Premiere Pro, you get your presets, you get your tutorials, you start watching dannyrio videos, you're like, okay, I know what to do and this and that, and then you start practicing and you're like, okay, I'm at a good point. But then at some point that progress slows down a bit. And then you take that slowing down part as a sign of, oh, I've already become very, very good at editing. And I'm going to attack a lot of people's egos here. And this is probably a video that I've been trying not to make for the longest time, because since releasing my free school community, and this is not like some kind of plug, I've noticed that a lot of people consider themselves amateurs or professionals, or the one word they'll avoid the most is, I'm not a beginner. They say, I am not a beginner, I've been doing this for quite some time, I've been doing this for a couple months, I haven't taken editing seriously, I haven't landed a couple clients, but I'm not a beginner. And then you assume that you are more experienced than you actually are. But I am here to tell you, you fucking suck at editing. And that sounds harsh, right? But believe me, I've even been taking some reflection myself. I don't even think I'm that good. I feel like I have a long way to go. And I feel very insecure about my own skills sometimes, okay? So take it from me, you fucking suck at editing. You are not as good as you think you are, sailor, okay? Because the mistake that you make is that you start learning, and then at some point your learning slows down and you think, that's enough for me. You know, I'm already getting pretty good. All I need to do is like come up with some tactics, and all I need to do is like start, learning some sales tactics and like closing clients in my DMs and getting better DM structure. So then you just write off learning. And then you don't change your strategy. Your strategy just stays the same. You get to like a solid 1 or 2K per month and you're like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is good. So all I need to do is start landing, more clients and start charging them higher rates, okay? And then maybe you'll learn a thing or two here. You'll learn a couple techniques. You'll pick up something along the way. Maybe somebody made a product. Some editor made a new product, and then you use that and you get faster or you get better. And you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. And you have these little pickups, and you take that as progress. You take that as learning. You think that's significant enough for you to start charging higher. But then what happens is that you never go up in income. But even worse than not going up in income is that you refuse to drop in income, which makes dropping in income even more painful than it is. So if you were to go from 980 to 960, it hurts. Or if you went from 1400 to 1000, it hurts. This refusal and dropping down, when you do drop down, it hurts. But you think by clinging on to the pole, your safety pole that is 1K per month, that you can somehow jump forward to make $2, $3, $5, $10,000 a month. But you can't make that jump. Okay, it's a leap of faith, guys. It is a leap of faith, my brother. Okay, what happens is you're clinging onto this pole. You are hundreds of feet in the air, in the danger zone. Okay, you want to go all in, but you're not all in, because what happens is you're clinging onto this income, and you don't want to let go. You don't want to do anything to change. You don't want to change your strategy. You don't want to learn more. You don't want to invest in yourself. You don't want to buy. You're probably gonna buy like new PC parts, and that is the biggest cope I've ever heard. Like, If your software is legitimately failing, like struggling to breathe, if your PC is so loud, it is basically begging you, for the love of God, buy some new fans, then I'd understand. But if you're having the occasional software error, but the stuff that you feed your software and the stuff that you feed your hardware is full of shit, you start feeding itself like this foreign software, these foreign external stuff like plugins, stuff like extensions, stuff like motion graphics templates. You feed it all of this shit, it is going to produce shit. I'm sorry for my language, but this is a very passionate topic of mine, because I can't stress the signs that you guys are missing. You're clinging onto the pole. You're like, I don't want to jump, but you can never make the jump to whatever income you want to make. Okay, if you don't recognize and if you don't understand that there is a possibility you'll fall, and you need to be okay with that. Because you make the leap, let's say you make the leap of faith and then you fall, that's fine, because you can still get back up. Let's say your highest month is 1,600, right? That is evidence that you can make 1,600 again. That is not pure luck. That is skill. That there is no such thing as luck. Okay, no luck, no karma, no magic bullshit. Okay, like editing isn't some kind of black magic work. It is simply doing the work. You make 1,600, you could do it again. So if you drop down to 1,200, that doesn't reflect on how bad you are or if you're failing or whatever. It just means that you did something different. You changed your strategy. What is that? It's something you're supposed to do. It's what I did. If we scroll up, you can probably see here, to go from 5K to 1.2K, it means I changed something up. I changed something. I put in less effort into client work, right? And I spent more time in learning. Because here's the difference between you and me, is that you get to this point and then you start thinking, I don't need to learn more, because, if I try to learn more, it's like, there's only so much you can learn about editing. I'm already at a good spot. It's all about branding and converting these clients, right? I don't need to learn more. But the good clients you want, the $1,000, $2,000 paying clients, they're over here waiting for the editors. They're kind of sitting there looking at their watch thinking, when the fuck is the new editor going to come around? I'm waiting for the new drop, right? I'm waiting for the DLC update of new editors, and none of them are coming because none of them are good enough to none of them are worthy of my money. Guys, they're here. They're all over here waiting for your cash. Waiting to give you cash, I mean. And they're all here waiting for skill, but you don't have it. You're just not good enough to give it to them. So you need to be okay with dropping that income if it means making some progress. Okay? Because that tiny bit of progress, it makes a huge difference. You think that tiny detail, like if I spend hours on a tiny detail, you probably write it off as a waste of time. But that amount of detail I put on one tiny thing is the amount of detail you put in your entire composition. Which is why I'm going to always beat you when it comes to any kind of work, right? Oh, don't focus on the details. You don't have that kind of time. It's too much. It's like, okay, so I'm going to take some of my personal time outside of client work to get better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop an income, get better at editing so I can make more money. And then if you look at my previous videos, you can see the kind of clients that hit me up. You can see the kind of clients that I work with. You can go to my portfolio, right? Because they know that this makes all the difference in the world. They're over here. They're over here. They're waiting for me. They're waiting for me. I'm here chilling with them. And you are over here. You are over here, right? You're over here saying, I don't really need to learn more. I just don't. It's just, I'm kind of good where I am. But then when it comes to income, you're not good where you are and you don't like it. You want to change it. Because just taking the time to learn, to go that extra mile, spending a month to get like 1% better, right? That's where the money is. Hell, you know who else did this? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan outworked anybody, even if it meant getting 1% better, because he knew that work would pay off and that work would reflect. The guy had the craziest point average. Like nobody could beat the guy because he was over here. He spent as much time as he could progressing. all the other basketball players, like look at the NBA now, like a lot of them are like, they're cool with where they're at. They're like, I'm making millions. I'm cool. I don't really need to get better. Jordan didn't care about that. Jordan didn't care about that. He didn't even care for the money, but the money came to him. What is the one thing I say? The money's going to come to you. Okay? Just get good. The money's going to come to you. And one more thing. I'm editing it right now, the video that you're watching. One more thing that I noticed is that look at how rich people spend their money. I was watching the Mr. Who's the Boss series recently where he was doing a home renovation where he buys his dream gaming room, dream office setup, dream bedroom, dream this, dream that. Look how easily they spend their money, right? They spend money like it's nothing because why? Money is abundant to them. So look at that logarithmic curve, right? All of this extra space at the end, they can afford it. Money is not a problem for them. So they might as well spend on stuff like that. Why would they spend it? Why would they cheap out and spend money on stuff here when they know they can spend more money on higher priced editors who are good at their jobs over down here on the logarithmic? I'm not even going to show you, but I'm going to probably put up a screen, because I am editing this right now. But they can afford it, therefore they will, right? They can afford better editors, therefore they will, because it's the safer option. They spend less energy, less time worrying about you. It's less of an effort because it's like if I take my time, and here's a problem is like I see a lot of because I know you guys have the right intentions. A lot of you have the right intentions, right? I want to do well by my client. I want to provide for him. I want to over-deliver. That's a big word that I hear. I want to over-deliver for him. But then you are not over-delivering when you're juggling like 4 different clients and you're trying to raise your prices, and then you can never really make your best editing. And then when the time comes for you to make something cool, you're like, you hold back because you're like, I don't really, it's not worth my time spending. That is not over-delivery. You use this word too easily, over-delivery. You don't know what over-delivery is. Because your idea is the client likes your work, but they don't know what they want. You submit the work that you currently do to like, huge top clients. They're going to say, what the fuck is this? And that's, again, no offense. I'm not here to be a dick, right? I'm not here to be a dick. I'm not here to be like some Andrew Tate Sigma editing guy. I'm not here to be like this super, you need to do 1,000 push-ups and if you want to do very well in editing. I'm just here to tell you how it is. I ran into a lot of different problems growing as an editor than a lot of the people that watch my videos. A lot of the people that watch my videos, they run into more money problems and a lot more skilled problems. And I just was very directionless because I didn't have a coach. So I just did everything myself. But the one thing that I did focus on was making good work, and clients like that anyways. Okay? That is it. So think about it. Think about rich people and how they spend their money. You do not think like a rich person because you are not rich, and I am not rich. Okay, I'm not gonna say I just use Mr. Who's the Boss as a reference. I'm not Mr. Who's the Boss. I don't have his level of money. Like, I know that. But what I do know is that he has an abundance of money. And if it means he spends less time talking to you, if it means he doesn't have to ask for updates all the time, if it means he doesn't have to give you revisions, if it means he can trust you with the work, if it means that he knows that you will have the initiative and if you will have the mind and the care and the passion to make something good and make sure that it's good and solve your own problems and not have to worry and not have to sacrifice good work to say, oh, I'm sorry, I've got other clients. I hope you understand that I have to prioritize them because they pay me more. That's a bit of a prick thing to do. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit of a prick thing to do. That is not really over-delivering if you have to sacrifice one client's work for another. Okay? That is poor time management. Or you're not really over-delivering So if a client could spend, if a client could have all of those things that I just said, all of those qualities in an editor, you best fucking believe he's gonna spend the money on it because he knows you want money and he has money and he spends it like it's nothing. The guy spent like $500,000 on a bed or something, I think, or he wants to buy these clients, they have a lot of money, and they're willing to spend it if it means they don't have to spend as much time on focusing if you're doing well. Think about it that way. Hey, you don't have to listen to me. Just look at how rich people spend, right? Like that's all you have to do. You know, don't listen to the guy on screen who's trying to be like this some Sigma Andrew Tate stuff. But yeah, we can continue with the video. Bye now. What does this one say? Okay, this is a dangerous one because let's think about it this way. This is let me put it into perspective for you right now. When people go to school, right? They'll go to school and then they'll get a job. Or they'll go to school and then they'll go to uni and then they'll get a job, right? But then the mistake they make is that after school or after uni, they stop learning. They think that they know life, they know the world, they don't need to learn more. They can just go out and get a job and live their life and do everything. And then say, okay, they're cool with where they're at. You did not want to go to uni, right? You went to school. Mostly because you have to. But when uni comes around, you're like, no, I don't want to go to uni. I hate uni. Well, fuck uni or college or whatever you call it, right? So then you don't go. And you become an editor instead. Good for you. Okay? But you're not done here because you're still making a lot of mistakes, right? Oh, this one's a big one. So again, you do your learning at the beginning and then okay, yeah, learning, and then you cash in here, and then you kind of stop here, right? You kind of just stop at this point, and then you don't bother to focus on this because you think this is going to take you too long, okay? And the time that would require you to learn this is time that you would have to take out of client time and put it in for yourself. But this, having the patience and having the curiosity to learn and want to become better is where the money is. I never stressed about making more money. Like if I got to an income and then I made less, all right. I cared about prices. I didn't care about money. I cared about prices. There's a difference between income and prices. Prices is a reflection of how good you are. Income is a reflection of how much client work you did. Right? I know people who make 10K per month or 5K per month or 3K or 4K, and they do like volume-based videos. And you know, that's all cool. You know, you want to make that money that way. I have no beef with that, but I don't really see that you're a particularly knowledgeable editor. I see you as a very hard worker. Sure, I think you're a very hard worker, but I don't really see that a lot of value is being placed into your work because if you're making that money through editing like 30 videos, it must mean that you don't really get paid a lot for those videos, or the clients just don't really need that kind of editing, right? I've always cared about prices. So if I wasn't upping my prices, then there was something wrong with my editing. All I cared about was I swear to God, you kids and your 10K per month nowadays is something I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to get through to you on, right? You fucking new gen editors. Sorry for the swearing, right? Point is that stop refusing education, right? Because you think that you become an editor and then you get a little bit good and then you refuse education. The same thing that everybody else does. You know, they go to school or they go to uni and then they stop learning so they can make money. And then you do the exact same thing. Let me put this diagram up here, right? So this is that, right? You learn and then you stop learning so you can cash out like this, okay? But what the best editors do is this part. This, they learn and then they learn and then they make more money. Or they learn and they learn, and then they make the most money, right? Because the point is your price per video is a reflection of your skill, and your skill is a reflection of your knowledge. That's the one, right? So you want to learn how to get good at editing. You want to learn how to charge more. You want to learn how to have a better income. Like, here's the thing is like, even if you get to a high point and you drop down, you can still make that money again. And if you do, all you really have to do is systemize your skill. That is it. You have to systemize your skill if you're going to have a consistent, you know, however much you want to make. Let's say you want to make 3K or 5K per month. You systemize that, okay? There is not much that I mean, I'm not going to downplay it, of course. But point is that you make a certain income, it's proof you can do it again. It is evidence. It is insurance that you can do it again. You should not have to worry about you not being able to ever do it again. Because what happens is if you start worrying that you can't make that money again, is that you start dropping down. So yeah, if you are somebody that wants to raise their prices, you have somebody who wants to, you know, start earning a bit more money, But more importantly, if you want to get good at editing, because you know the kind of people that I like to help and the kind of people that I like to work with is editors who just actually enjoy editing. If you're in it for the money, then please do not click the first link in the description. And if you are somebody who enjoys editing, who wants to get good at editing, and or just wants to raise their prices, then click the first link below. It is going to be a page to a call where I am going to see if you're fit for the coaching program. There's all the details there. Like, I'm going to be as real as possible. It is going to be me seeing if you're, you know, if you're worthy of joining, I guess. You know, I don't accept everybody, but there is going to be some talks of buying a program in there. No bullshit to you. And I'm going to teach you how to basically get good at editing so you can make more money and that you can be like this guy but cooler. So, bye-bye.